That she's really good at basketball.
Yeah, and I just did not want to mess with her. And funny, cool.
I thought Casey was kind of intimidating. Is that a bad word to say?
She was very intimidating. I was really nervous to talk to her at first.
The first day of practice, I was still a little nervous because it was the first day of practice, and we were doing those warm-up things where you like walk on the inside of your feet, and I guess I wasn't doing it right because Casey said, "Kara, walk on the inside of your feet!" And I turned around and I was gonna like smile at her like it was joking, and she like was dead serious, and ever since then I always make sure to walk on the inside of my feet.
I told her I did not want to mess with her, but yeah.
A little scary.
I don't want to say scary because that isn't quite the right word, but
She's scary.
oh, you're just gonna come out and say it, huh?
My first impression of Casey was that she was a really good basketball player and she means business.
Just very hardcore, I guess.
Her intensity is frightening.
When we first started playing pickup in the fall, I remember this one time everyone was like running down on the sidelines when they weren't playing, and I was like shooting at one of the baskets, and Casey was like, "Bravsky, what do you think you're doing? Like, you think you can just not run up and down the court and shoot baskets on the side?" And I was like, sorry. And I was so scared, and I was like, okay, I better not cross this girl. She's gonna cut me.
But I mean, I felt like if I went to high school with her, I would like avoid her in the hallways.
Yeah,
so
I see her walk down this hallway. Alright, let's go down that hallway.
I wouldn't want to get like slammed up against the locker from her. Like,
She's just like, she was the one person I was like, ooh, she means business.
my first impression of Casey Capello was, holy shit, she can beat me up.
She has a lot of muscle.
Like, she's jacked. I don't know, like, how she only does 5 pounds in the weight room for everything.
That's the funny thing. I don't understand it. You're so strong, but then like 5-pounders. Let's go.
She does this thing, I remember in the weight room, and we'd be like, Casey, do it. And she flexes and she gets like this, and all of a sudden she gets red and her veins start popping out.
You're just like toned. You're like, where does the muscle come from? Where does
I think it's the pizza. I think the muscle comes from the pizza.
She eats all this fried food and it just goes straight to her arms. Just bulking up.
Casey can eat pretty much anything she wants and still stay, like, have like a perfect figure.
I don't understand how she eats half of the things she does. She could eat like McDonald's before a game and be just fine and be like a high point scorer.
And then Casey will go eat pizza and everything in the world, and then she stays like this thin. Like maybe that thin.
Very thin.
Very thin.
And she eats crap. And she's so skinny.
Yeah, her and Iris just eat whatever they want, and I think Edge wouldn't even like look at the food that they eat.
She's obsessed with Taco Bell.
Her and Iris are always going to go get Dunkin', always going to go get Burger King.
Domino's, buffalo chicken pizza, that's their favorite.
She eats Dunkin' Donuts all the time and like the worst things. Pancake and sausage bites are like really disgusting and she loves them.
Like, oh, Casey, what'd you eat today? She's like, well, this morning I went and got Dunkin', and then for lunch I got Burger King.
Chicken fingers.
And yeah.
Yeah, I gained 10 pounds since I came to school.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd it go, Casey?
And Casey always gets hurt and like isn't working out for like so long. Like probably all summer she didn't work out that much, but she still is in like the best of shape, like the same as all of us.
Yeah. She barely was working out all summer. She had her T-band problem, you know, had to rest that. Then she was out for ankle. And over, you know, sitting for months and months at a time, not being able to work out, she gains, well, only 10 pounds. Then she comes back and she still runs better than I do, so.
Why couldn't I get in shape that fast? I feel like she just never gets out of it.
Yeah, she just never stops either. Like, she doesn't even look like she's tired on the court.
No. I'm like gasping for air the 2 minutes I get in, and then Casey's fine for like 5 minutes straight. She'll be like, oh, whatever. Like, yeah, I could keep playing the whole half, not a big deal. I'm like, coach!
And she has asthma too.
She was like, oh guys, like, my metabolism is slowing down. I know it is. I gained 10 pounds. Like, I used to never gain weight. And I looked at her and I said, you gained 10 pounds? Where? And then she was like, huh, probably my boobs.
For you, Casey.
For you. For you.
What are you gonna do now? You gained 10 pounds in your boobs.
Yeah. Casey just tells it like it is, and I just remember like at one of the very first team lifts, Coach was like asking us about if we like gained weight or something, and she's like, yeah, I think I gained 10 pounds because I went on birth control. And I was just like, oh, just told Coach that, but no big deal, it's fine.
My freshman year, she comes in, she's like, guys, I just went up a cup size. And we all were like, what the hell? Like, and she's like, man, I think it was because, I don't know, I think it was because I started taking birth control. And then Edge pops in and she's like, well, that didn't happen to me.
One situation that really sticks out in my mind about Casey, I know everyone's probably going to say they were intimidated because we probably as a group of freshmen talked about it on a daily basis when it came to the team. But when we did the prank on everyone and, you know, mess with their cars and everything to get them back after scaring us, when we got to Casey's car, we kind of just took a step back and was like, everyone, don't write anything mean on Casey's car. We can only write nice stuff like, we love you, you're awesome, like, please don't kill us.
Like, after we saran wrapped her car,
the whole time while we were strapping her car, we were thinking about she was the one person who would get really, really upset with us, and it was gonna be really scary.
and she was gonna punish us and make us do like 5:30 a.m. workouts every day.
But in the end, it was kind of like she was the one who made a joke about it, which,
You know, and then we got to Sparrow's car and we're like, write whatever you want, make fun of her because she gets on Facebook all the time and didn't even care. But like we were petrified about what Casey was going to do to us, and then Casey ended up being really the one who thought it was the funniest out of any of them.
I had to write nice things on her car. We didn't want to get her mad or anything. The saran wrap was enough. I think that was one point when I was like, oh, maybe she's not as intimidating. She didn't beat us up yet.
Well, they're all about Massachusetts. Like the Celtics, Patriots. But yeah, they always want to watch every game.
Casey knows like everything about sports too. Like,
Yeah.
she knows
Like
everything.
memes and stuff.
Yeah.
She'd definitely be the last person I would pick to get in a fist fight with on the team. For sure.
She's jacked.
Yeah, if I was gonna get in a fight with anyone on our team, you'd be the last one to get in a fight with. Probably pick Iris, but don't tell her that.
I feel like if anyone was like smack talking anyone on our team, like the person who would start the fist fight and would win the fist fight would be Casey Capello, followed by Pat Capello. Right out of the bleachers.
Sitting on the bench when like you had a turnover or something and it just looked like you were gonna go after somebody, and I was really scared for whoever it was on the other team.
At Brockport last year, this girl clobbered you. The next play down, she gets the ball and you just like tackled her. And Coach like accepted the fact that you were gonna do it. Like he knew it was gonna happen. He already had a sub for you coming in, but it was gonna happen. You were gonna take that girl up because she hit you.
If there was a fight, I would want Casey on my side.
Definitely someone you want on your side. Like, I feel like if we were in a game and someone punched me, I feel like Casey would hit the other girl before I even did.
She still can.
Definitely could still beat the shit out of any of us on the team.
Anyone she wants, she can beat up.
The best is when Casey gets real drunk and she just dances. Oh, that's the best. It's like, you know it's gonna be a good night when Casey Capello's up there dancing and trying to get everyone else to dance too. That's when it's so much fun, you know, there.
And Casey's one of the easiest ones to tell because she'll just, you know, be sitting there, might not even be with anyone, but she's like smiling, you know, just chatting. That's great. She'll do a little dance like to herself for a little bit.
I love when Casey's out having a good time because she starts dancing. When you look around, she starts dancing. But her thing is Joe was here one time, and she wouldn't dance with Joe though. She was like, no, I want to dance by myself. Because Casey does not like grinding. She's not into the grinding scene. She always makes fun of it.
My one impression of Joe that I'll like never forget is Joe coming back from the TikTok with Casey. And it was like, I was helping clean up the suite with Iris, and Joe comes back with Casey, and it was after Casey had had a long night of dancing, and Joe was like, she wouldn't even grind with me.
Joe always calls when we're at Dana.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like whenever we're at Dana, Casey will get a phone call from someone, and 4 out of 5 times it's Joe, and 1 out of 5 times it's her dad. And
you always hear her on the phone. Like,
yeah.
Joe, no, Joe.
Casey's on the phone a lot with Joe. We'll be like sitting at Dana and she'll answer the phone.
They are like an old married couple because their arguments are never about anything serious, but they're very heated arguments. I remember I was in the pub, sitting and eating, and all of a sudden like Casey walks up to my table and she's like, Erica, how many centimeters are in an inch? And I'm like, I think it's like 2 to 3, 2.5. And she goes, see, I told you, there's no way there's 4 centimeters in an inch. And they're in this heated argument about how many centimeters are in an inch. And then I had a BlackBerry and she's like, look it up right now, look it up. They're kind of like a cute old couple. They bicker a little bit.
One of my funniest moments of Casey this year is when we're at the Syracuse game and she's feeling good at the moment and we're walking out and she tries to steal like a stadium chair that's like broken. Yeah, she just sees the bright orange Syracuse chair. She just takes it and she's like, nobody's gonna know, it's fine. I can hide it. It's fine. Nobody cares. And when people are like, Casey, you can't take it, she's like, shh, it's fine. And she like tries to hide it behind her. It's this like bright orange chair. Oh my gosh, it was
My favorite memory with Casey Capello is noosing the panda.
when we're on the bus with the boys team and they're all talking after they ask the movie to be, or the volume of the movie to be put up, and Casey just turns around and tells them to shut up, and they like immediately go silent. They just immediately stop talking. Like Casey said shh, shh, and they like go back in their seats and hide. And I love it.
That was awesome.
It's so great.
Casey is just someone that like you can trust. You can always like tell her anything and you know that she's not gonna go spread it around campus or like on the team. I'm gonna miss her because of that, I guess.
Casey's just like such an unbelievable player and just captain. Like when she says something, you just like, you take it to heart immediately. Like I have so much respect for her, and when Casey says, like tells you to do something, you like immediately want to do it and you want to play like Casey, and she's such a great player and like a really great captain too.
I'd say I looked up to her the most.
Definitely.
The most.
I feel like everyone wants to like play like Casey does.
I thought she was actually pretty funny, so I admired her like sense of humor, and I looked up to her when I was a freshman, even though she was just a sophomore.
How much heart she always plays with. Like she had like, you know, problems with injury and like it didn't stop her. And it's just amazing. Would have missed that a lot.
Yeah, she's a very good team leader and makes sure everyone's getting everything done that they need to and doesn't go easy on anybody.
She's such a good leader and can help you with anything, and I don't know, her leadership like inspires other people. Like when she works really hard and gets a steal or something, it really pumps everyone else up. And
like she had so many injuries to battle this year and she just handled it so well, and she just like kept pushing through it.
Powered through them.
That was awesome.
Like she's the senior. Like I don't know how to say it, and I'm screaming really loud. She's just the one like I would pick out at everybody and be like, she's a senior.
So Casey is definitely the person who you want to impress. So like if we're shooting or whatever and she'll be like, good shot, Allie, I'll be like, oh, you hear that? Like she just complimented me.
Like, if I do a good play, I'm like, hey Casey, you see that?
It's not just about basketball when it comes to her.
if Casey tells you to do something, you're like, okay, I better do it. But it's in such a good way, like you don't get down about it, you do it.
She's never scared to tell somebody something.
I feel like compliments like mean so much more like when they come from Casey.
One thing about Casey is she's someone who she sticks to her guns. Like Casey is the same no matter who she's with, who she's around, no matter the context, like, you know, even with her family. She's just someone who is true to herself, and so that's the biggest thing about Casey that's great is since she sticks to her guns so much and, you know, her own morals and her beliefs, then she is the first person to call other people out when they don't, you know, and it's like she's the ultimate, keeps people responsible to what they say and what they promise. And
something I'll always remember about Casey is that when I was on the team, like, she is a very, like, trustworthy person. Like, you just, for some reason, once you get past that exterior skin of hers, she's, like, really the most true blue person, I think, that I've probably met at St. Lawrence since I've been here. And, you know, I could really go to her and talk to her about anything. And it just really showed me a lot when I did make that big decision to stop playing. When I just looked at Case, I could really see that she was really upset. And I knew everybody was, but it was just, like, kind of like I said, once you get past that, Casey's just really a true blue person that I'll always remember that I can go to for anything, and she always got my back.